Femi Adefeso joins me now as we go to the courts, talk about everything domestic and foreign. And Femi, let me also welcome you. I know it was a hard day, but you did what you had to do.
Yeah,
it's really appreciated. Let's come home first and talk about what's happening in Division 1.
Yes, it's the Nigerian Basketball League, National Division 1. The battle to know the teams that would be making their more appearances against the big boys in the Jesse Premier Basketball League next season. So we know the Immigrations team got relegated in the Savannah Conference. In the Atlantic Conference, the MBBF, BBL, Buhara, made 3 teams get suspended. So we'll be seeing how those teams will be replaced. But I know for a fact, based on the meeting that they had from last night, suggests that the technical committee have approved that only 1 space will be filled based on the championship that will be going on in Abuja starting from tomorrow, while the remaining 2 slots will be filled, based on recommendations, from the technical work. Well, all that simply means is that from the Atlantic Conference, all the teams playing in Division 1, which are about 9 teams, will be fighting for a place, which of course is what the rule says, based on the competition. But because we know that there are still, places to be filled, based on what happened. So it's opened the door for either the teams that were suspended to find a way of coming back, or teams who can bid for, slots also come in with, their own bids, to see that they want to also play in the Premier League. So those options rather, are open, for contest. But in the Savannah Conference is simple, because they didn't have any issues. So a team was bottom, a team got relegated, unlike the Atlantic Conference where no team was relegated in there. So we look forward to a very fantastic championship. I had about 19 teams are on ground, right now in Abuja as we speak. So I would look forward to seeing how they will compete favorably. I for one, I would have been a lot excited, or more excited if some of the players who missed out from last season, based on the same issues that is allowing some teams to come out to be a part, of the championship. We heard last minute that 2 teams or two individuals who participated in the event, were actually, the bands were actually lifted up them and they were allowed to participate, in it. But I wish there were more of those players, who were given a leave of approval, so to speak, to play, because it brought in a rush of talent pool, into the National Division 1, and I'm sure it would have been very exciting, particularly with the fact that we're going into a new season, come next year, and all the talent pool we can get is what we have. So as much as it is, the Division 1 is always very exciting and very competitive, and I hope it's something that I definitely will want to watch. So we look forward to a very exciting one, in there.
All right. Femi, let's talk about one of the teams, very popular teams in Nigeria, talking basketball, Customs. They're in the news. What's happening to that team?
They are not preparing. That's what's happening. They are not preparing for the Continental Championship, which they have qualified for. We haven't gone to the Zone 3 Championship to get the tickets to represent the zone at the finals in Egypt. But financial worries, yes, is affecting the preparation of the team, which is particularly worrying. Worrying in the sense that I remember last year we had Mark Mentors, remember, who qualified, as champions and didn't eventually go to the tournament. At the end of the day, it dealt a big blow to Nigerian basketball as a whole, in terms of reputation. And then the clubs themselves were fined by FIBA Africa about $10,000. So which means whenever they qualify again, before they will be able to play,
they have to pay that.
They have to pay that money. So it's not looking good now in the Customs camp, because they can't prepare the teams, the players, that they ought to bring in to fortify the squad. They can't do that at the moment. But I'm particularly worried because I feel a team like Customs, being a state of, should of the government should be able to at least, be able to build some funds.
Or even fare better than some other teams.
Exactly, unlike privately owned teams who will likely struggle for finances at this period. I for one, didn't expect that Customs will be struggling. Remember, I think they'll be going for the competition December the 6th, if I'm not mistaken. So they really need to start working on it. I just hope they don't cause another round of embarrassment.
So history does not repeat itself.
But exactly, basketball in a whole, and it's particularly worrying for me personally, looking at the kind of talent pool that is in that team and the exposure they have, and also adding the fact that they are qualifying for the continent for the first time in their history.
A unique opportunity.
So, exactly, for them to make a mark on the African continent, and I hope they don't let it just go by like that.
All right, let's leave Cosmos and did I say Cosmos? Customs and go on. Let's talk about Lagos State. What Lagos State did, an initiative that has been praised by so many. What they're doing, train the trainers, get a lot into the system and ensure that the game grows. So let's quickly talk about above the ring.
Very laudable event put together by the Lagos State Basketball Association in partnership with a couple of their partners. And the lovely thing about it is the fact that they're trying to teach, a basic basketball fundamentals
to coach.
To coaches. And then build a curriculum so that all the coaches in and around Lagos or whoever comes to get certified is teaching the same thing at the same time across board. So if you're teaching, for example, shooting, every school you get to at every level is teaching shooting. So, and it's teaching at a very basic and fundamental level. Not only that too, apart from even reading at the curriculum, also there's going to be more like a certification, where all these coaches, will receive their badges, beg your pardon, and then be certified, as coaches who are, of course, recognized by a body. And it goes to show the kind of structure, that they're trying to put in place and the future, of course, for the game.
Yeah, it's going to trickle down.
In general.
My thoughts, in line with yours, what you learn from the streets is always different from what the rules of the game says. If you learn from the streets, when you get to major competitions, you get to places where you want to, show your talent, what you've learned on the streets might be different from the basic rules of the game. And if you don't learn it at a very tender age, or you don't have anybody to teach you, for instance, your progress in the game.
Yes, I tell people something that there are some things you can't just learn if you are not taught.
Yeah.
You must go to school. Not necessarily a formal school, but you must get a form of training to be able, to actually do it. And some of these kids, we see that's what lacks, in the way they play, because they are not taught right, and they grow up, doing it the same way. So it's difficult for them to compete. But this is an initiative to ensure that, look, we get it right from the scratch, which I think is fantastic.
Change the orientation.
And the facilitators that have come, former D Tigers coach, Coach Ayo Bakari, would of course qualify Nigeria to the Olympic Games in London 2012. He's one of the facilitators. We have Coach OBJ, Coach Oliver Johnson, a seasoned basketball guru as far as I'm concerned. Works with the Ahmad Bello University and Peace Basketball Project. We have a couple of people. We saw Mr. Peter Nelson, of course, who works in the Ministry of Sports. He's a seasoned basketball player as well. So a couple of all these, ingrained Nigerian veterans.
You want to envy the kids what they're going to get later
from
on.
all of these coaches, and the turnout hasn't been too bad. It's been quite impressive, and I could see going there today the number of coaches that coach schools are in and around Lagos. So it's not even that it's an academy somewhere. It's even the coaches who coach in schools, which makes it even a little bit more interesting for us. So they set the event to continue tomorrow, and that will be bringing it to an end. But I'm particularly excited about the future, of basketball with things like this. I hope other state associations who can also
follow suit,
emulate, some of these things and see how they can help build the coaches. The coaches need a lot of training. That's what causes the gap. The talent is there. You can't take it away from some of these children, but also teaching them the right things to do so that they are able to compete at the level they can is what is most important.
Femi, before I let you go, let's talk about the Lagos 3-on-3 tour. Gathering momentum, is exciting. Where is it eating now?
Yes, it's eating Roe Park, Yaba, Lagos. They've done Ilupeju, they've done Ikeja. The last park, that's the Indivisible Park, now is going to Roe Park this weekend, Saturday, and it's 3-on-3 basketball. That half court where 3 people are playing against each other. It's the new trend of basketball. It's fun, it's exciting, a lot of action in between, and the whole idea is to play and win, you know, the tour, so to speak, in general, but you win in all of these venues and you come together in the end to play for, you know, the championship. I think the winners go with about 200,000 naira, and of course you get FIBA ranking points. Let's not forget that.
That's
because
crucial.
it is FIBA endorsed, so your points are being put together, and just like the tennis, you know, you get, you know, eligible for bigger invitational tournaments, you know, across Africa and across the world, you know, as you build in all of those ranking points together. So teams are still allowed to join up at this point and then fight for a place in the finals, which will take place in Teslim Balogun Stadium.
All right, Femi, I want to thank you for your time on the show. It's been nice having you here, and it's really appreciated.